Hey guys, welcome to my Instagram live. I am going to show you guys how I make my bone broth. So a lot of you guys have asked me about bone broth, like why do I drink it, where do I get it, what does it even do for you? And a lot has been coming up lately. It's this, the next fad. I hate to call it a fad because there's truly health benefits when you consistently have it. But bone broth is really good for a lot of things. So I'll very briefly kind of run down why I drink bone broth. When I was drinking bone broth, I used to be super consistent with it. I'm starting to get back on my consistency with it. But the bone broth has a lot of really good properties for good gut health. And gut health is directly related to our actual brain health. And had a large impact on my mental health and kind of my journey of getting off of my medicine and all that kind of stuff. So bone broth is really good for creating a healthy environment in the microbiome of our digestive system. So that in itself is super important. In a world where everyone's like, oh my gosh, gut health, probiotics. You also want to think about, instead of taking exogenous vitamins that may not be natural, they may be synthetic, you don't know the quality, why not have something that comes straight from, the source? So bone broth is also really good for your joints. So a lot of people with arthritis take vitamins or supplements. There's two of them, glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate. Those are the supplements that people generally take when they have arthritis because it gives support to their bones. Well, when you make bone broth, you get both of those things directly from the bone marrow. So I get my bones from Whole Foods. I've got them from local places as well. So this is a grass-fed, are they grass-finished? It doesn't say grass-finished. But they're grass-fed cow bones. And I have bought some myself, actually. Kettle and Stone, I forget that name. That's a really good brand, but I also get these little packets. It's from Lono Life, and these are really good for on the go, and just like sometimes I'll take them to work if I want something with my lunch. Let's get some hot water from work. And the flavor on those ones are really good. I like to make my own because it's cheaper. I'll tell you that from the get-go. People say all the time that being healthy is expensive. Make it yourself. Stop paying for a brand name. But I like to control the flavor. So I'm going to show you guys how I make my bone broth. And so first things first, I normally have more veggies. I just didn't have a ton right now. So I didn't notice I washed, but I didn't even peel these carrots. There's no sense in taking that outer layer off because I personally like to eat the carrots after they've soaked in the broth because it's so good. So, the carrots, and again, normally I'd have more of an onion, but I had about half of a purple onion, and that's really going to be for flavor. So, I like to do a little bit of fresh rosemary and just pop that in there. Now, I've got some black peppercorns, and this is another thing where it's really good for flavor, but it's also really good for your body absorbing the nutrients. So it's really good for the nutrient absorption. So put a teaspoon of that in there, and then I'm gonna add just like a little bit of turmeric as well. We all know there is health benefits to turmeric. I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar because apple cider vinegar helps with alkalinity in the body as well as helping to help draw the nutrients out of the marrow bone as well. So, got my apple cider vinegar in there. I'm going to add, let's see how many bones. You can see, I think this is so cool. So that's what the inside of our bones look like, you guys. I become a total geek, total nerd with this stuff. Of course it's frozen. But I think that's so cool. Maybe it's because I love orthopedics, and so like bones. I get really excited about them. But I'm going to put that in there. And I paid $12 for these bones. It was 2 pounds. And you guys, the quality of water that you use, you can't just use tap water. And let me tell you why. So, pour this in here. The water that we get from our tap is filled with birth control hormones, chlorine, algae. Like, there's so much stuff in our water these days, you guys, that drinking from the tap and not getting your water, I only drink from other water sources because our water is just not filtered, and it can be really harmful for your body, and it can cause changes on a hormonal level. So if you're having issues with your hormones or you're having a really hard time losing weight, there's a good chance that your body on a hormonal level is struggling to normalize because we're constantly exposed to things just simple as our water that totally disrupts our body. So that's my rant on water. What I'm going to be doing with this is put this on, actually my crock pot gets kind of toasty, so I put it on warm, and I'm going to let it cook for probably 40 hours. For sure 24 hours. I'll check on it. I'll stir it in the morning, check on it when I get home from work tomorrow, and kind of see how everything's going. And the key with this is low heat for a long period of time. So that is what helps draw the nutrients out. You don't want to do it super fast because it's not going to draw everything out. And I can show you guys what the bones look like when it's done. It is so cool. You'll have a whole nother respect for just like bones in general. It's really, really cool. So that's how I make my bone broth. And again, you guys saw I put about a gallon of water in there, and I'll probably add a little bit more. So a gallon, I just store it in the freezer. I take about a cup or two, heat it up in a pot on the stove, and sip it like I'm sipping a typical like broth or something like that. It is so good. And you guys, it is so good for you. So if you guys ever have any questions about bone broth or anything like that, or if you make it yourself, let me know. And I would love to hear, again, some of the brands that I really like. If you want to try something, not make it on your own, Lono Life is a really good brand that I really, really like the flavor. I just get the beef bone broth, and I mean, it's also a good source of protein. So if you are someone who lacks protein and you don't want to eat chicken all day, bone broth is a great option. So that is how I make my bone broth. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good evening.